Alright, so this set of notes is the other type of polynomial division, which is known as synthetic division. So it's a kind of a process kind of division. It's a little kind of a setup kind of thing that is used, and this is a skill you're going to want to use in especially pre-cal and college algebra if you go in one of those next year. So just as a recap, these first three boxes, they basically show different ways to see polynomial division. They're all the same problem, just like we in the long division. This is what you're dividing by, that's what you're dividing by, and if it has a little -1, that's what you're dividing by. So we're going to divide these two polynomials, but instead of doing long division, we're going to do it as what's known as synthetic division. So the way this works is we have this little setup. We have this little half box here and this line, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the coefficients of our dividend, which are these coefficients here, and we're going to list them next to this box. So we're going to go 3, -5, 1, and -2, because there would be a 1 right there. Okay, and so those are the first things we set up. Okay, and then inside the box is we're going to take the solution to this part, this x minus 2. So what makes that 0? Well, that's a 2, because x minus 2 is equal to 0, x would equal 2. So that's what goes in the box. Right? So here is synthetic. Now, you're probably not going to catch it the first time, but the nice thing about the video is you can stop, rewind, and redo. So what we're going to do is after we do this, set this up, we're going to always bring down the first term. So there's the first term. And what we're going to do is take the number in the box, multiply it times this bottom number. So 2 times 3 is 6. And it goes under the next value. And then we're going to add. So as we go down, we're going to add. So that's going to be a 1. Okay? So then we're going to multiply again, and we're going to repeat it. 2 times 1 is 2. And we're going to add, which is 3. And we're going to do it one more time. 6, and add, which is 4. And what happens is what we get is what's known as a depressed equation. Okay? Or not really a depressed equation, but we'll get a depressed polynomial. And because it's not going to be an equation, but this term right here is going to be the remainder if I would have long divided this. This is going to be my constant. This will go with x, and this will go with x squared, and it will continue if it was more terms. So the answer to this when I divide these is going to be 3x squared plus x plus 3 plus our remainder over our divisor, x minus 2. Okay, simple as that. Yeah, it is that simple. So let's look at number 2. I've already got it kind of set up. Okay, and so I've got these numbers here. So if we look, here's my coefficients, and notice the 0. Well, where did the 0 come from? Well, there's no y squared, so we put a 0 y squared, anything that has an empty space. Okay, we do that with long division if we have to. So what number would make this divisor? This is what we're dividing by. 0 would be a -5. Okay, so we brought the 1 down, so now we're going to multiply. -5, we're going to add. We're going to multiply, that's 15. We're going to add. We're going to multiply again, I believe that's -75. Okay, and we're going to add, which is -5. And we're going to go 25, which is going to be 18. So, remember, remainder, constant, x squared, x cubed. So we're going to have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 15x minus 5 plus 18 over y plus 5. And those should be y's. My bad. I'm so used to writing x's. These would be y's. Just habit. That's a y, that's a y, and that's a y. Okay? Alright, so last one here, it has a little bit of a difference, and it's really because of this having a 2 right here. So, here we have everything set up. There's no gaps, so I don't have any zeros. We've got to figure out what goes in here. Well, if I go off to the side, 2a plus 1 is equal to 0, a is going to be -1/2. So we're going to put -1/2 in here. So we're going to multiply. Now this is going to be nice because that's going to be -1. We're going to add, that's a -4. We're going to multiply again, that's 2, that's going to be 6. Multiply one more time, it's -3, and I get -5. Okay? So the only difference, because of this 2, our final piece, this piece right here, still has to be divided again by 2. Whatever that number is, that denominator here, you have to divide all this part, but not the remainder. The remainder is going to stay the same. So we're going to divide everything by 2. This would be a 1, negative 2, 3. The negative 5, the remainder stays the same, and so that's going to be my remainder, my constant, my x, and my x squared, but in this case it's a's. Did it again. And so you're going to get a squared minus 2a plus 3 plus 5 over 2a plus 1. Okay? And this should be a negative 5. Okay? Or, of course, you can write a squared minus 2a plus 3 minus 5 over 2a, whichever one you prefer. Okay? And that's as simple as that. So don't forget zeros and values that are missing. Okay? And if you happen to divide by a binomial that has a 2 or some number in front of the a or x, divide by that number. Okay? Now, the only thing is, okay, you can only synthetic division when dividing by a binomial. Okay? You can only do this. You cannot divide by trinomials, anything like that. You can only divide by binomials. So it doesn't work on some things. You do have to log divide. Okay? All right, hope this helps. Try the exercises.